This video is a continuation of the first floor frame assignment. One thing that's going to be a bit of a departure is for the remainder we're going to be using our pre-made wall frame sections that'll be found in the Edsby library section. Or if you've already drawn them yourself, you'll have them in one of your folders in your computer profile. Okay, so we've got our component already imported, and if I look at our details for window 3, it's got the locations relative to the edge. So let's bring our section over. What I'm going to do though, before I get too much into the detail of the windows, is I'm going to populate the whole wall with these. So I'm just going to bring this over. As always, pick up with a corner and go corner to corner. Let's see. I'm going to touch that, make it blue. Hold my control and bring it over. Okay. Now I'm just going to place that. Before I get too far, I'm going to make this one unique. If you don't, any changes you make will end up being visible in all the other components. So try to get in the habit of making it unique as soon as you move it. Okay, and it looks like it's sticking over just a wee bit, and that's okay. So now I'm going to do is just click on here. I'm going to edit this unique component. I'm going to make that bottom board unique as well. And I'm going to go straight up. And let's push the remainder out of the way. Okay, my apologies. I have to go into edit component mode for that board. Once I've done that, I can then, and only then, make a change. Okay. Now let's just get out of this. So just for clarification, we're in edit component mode for the entire component. And then to adjust the bottom board, which is a component itself, I had to go into edit component mode once again. Okay, let's move this vertical board over because we're going to need one on the end there. This will be our oddball spacing, in case you're wondering. It'll probably more than likely also be our nailer for the corner. So let's go into making that unique and editing that component. Okay. And we'll push this over like so. Okay, now we've got the whole wall populated with our framing. Now we just have to look at our detail for that first window. Okay, so it says, let's see. I'm just going to magnify that just a touch. Let's see. So it says from the inside of that first board on the right-hand side to the right-hand side of that first board is 1 foot 4 inches, or 16 inches. Okay, let's see what we've got right here. I think we might be in luck. Okay, and no such luck. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to have to move that over just a bit. So 1 foot and 4 inches. Let's double check our picture. Okay. Let's edit that component. And since we're not making a definite change to this board, we can just move it over. Now it should snap on the mark that we made. If it doesn't, we'll obviously have to make another mark. So 1 foot and 4 inches. And there's our mark. Okay, just double check before you get out of that. There to there is 1 foot 4. Okay, wonderful. So we've got our first detail underway. And from there, we can create the detail for our window. So the beginning of that is going to be 6 foot 6 inches. So we can start kind of working with that. The bottom of this is going to be 1 foot 9. So we can work with that as well. Okay. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is use my existing boards. And I'm going to copy them. So I'm going to move this board over to here. I'm going to make it unique. And according to our diagram, it's 1 foot 9 inch from the bottom. So there's a few different ways we could do it. Let's go into edit component mode, see if it lets us go like this. And I'm going to type in 1 foot 9 inches. Okay. Now after that, we've just created this board here. Now let's create this board as well. So it's at 6 foot 6 inches, which is 1 foot 4 inches below. So let's go over here. We're in luck. We can just use that as more or less our command as far as how much to make the adjustment. So let's make that unique. Let's edit that unique component. And once again, we're going to move that down an additional 1 foot 4.5. So let's do that. So I'm going to type in 1 foot 4 and 1/2 inches. Okay. Okay, so we've got that done now. Now that only brings us down to the top of that board. So truth be known, we're going to have to go down the width of that board. So we're using 2x4s, which we now know by this point is they're actually 1.5 by 3.5. So to get our board here, here, and here in the correct location, we're going to have to go down the thickness of that board, which is 1/2 inch. Or 1.5 inch, my apologies. So we're going to have to push that down an additional 1.5. And I'll go 1.5 inches. And if you're not sure if you did the right thing, should be 6 foot 6 inches. There we go. So we double checked it. Okay. Now we know for sure we're going to make this one the same as this. So what we could do is, if we look at our spacing here, it's fairly nominal. So what we're going to do, it's one of two things. Okay, I guess what we could do now is we could do the other end, and then we could worry about the middle at the very end or partway through. So this has an inside width, which is from here to here, of 2 feet 3.5 inches. So let's see where that takes us. So 2 feet 3.5 inches. Half inches. Okay, so that takes us right there. And okay, so okay, so about the width of that board is going to have to move over, and that's okay. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, then I'm going to move this over. And then I'm going to just simply erase this one here, and I'm going to move this. Oh, gotta love when that happens. I hope you're watching SketchUp. Okay, let's move this over here, drop that off there, and we're also going to get rid of this one because we've got this one here. Oops, looks like I didn't copy. Looks like I more or less robbed. Okay, bring this one back, and then this one here, we're going to drop off there. And we'll take this one as well. Okay. Okay. So I guess we could, for now, get into this one, make that unique, edit that component, and we could push this out of the way. And we're going to need part of that later, but that's okay. And let's see, I'm going to need a board for there. So I could go to the lumber pile, or I'll just do this. Grab this one here since it's close. Make it unique. Give it a spin. And 90 degrees. Drop it off right there. Okay, make sure it is unique, which it is. Okay, now we've got that. Okay, so we've got most of the window done. This one here is 9.5, so that's a 2x10. So I'm going to go to the lumber pile for that one. Obviously, I'm going to grab the smallest one they've got, and let's take that. Let's bring it over here. Let's make it unique. Okay, put that into place, like so. Okay, bring this over. Let's copy this. And I'm not going to make this one unique because I'd like to edit them both at the same time. And I would like them both to get that change. So a little bit of efficiency there. So I'm just going to draw this line from here to here. And let's give that a push. Okay. And we're going to need a board up top. So what I'm going to do is, for the sake of efficiency, I guess, oops, we're going to go back into that and edit that component. Okay, I'm going to copy this board here, and let's see, I'm going to move it up straight. See that blue axis there? That indicates straight. If I go off, the blue disappears, so there you go, it's straight. Obviously this is much longer than I need, so of course I'm gonna definitely make that unique. And let's push the remainder out of the way. Oops, as always, I need to make that go in edit component mode. And make it disappear. Okay, so we've got window detail number 1 done. Okay, so let's cruise on over here. And we've got a window span. So from the edge to the edge, that's going to be 14 feet 8 inches. So let's make a measurement. Okay, so let's just 14 feet 8 inches. Over here somewhere. Okay, so it's going to be somewhere over here. So let's go 14 feet 8 inches. Let's see, that's going to be the location of the first board. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this board over here, but I'm going to go into my edit component mode. Edit component mode. Of course, once I'm in edit component mode, it's not going to see the it's not going to catch our so I need something bigger for it to catch. Okay, there we go. There we go. So there's the endpoint outside the active. Okay. Now we're going to populate the remainder of the window. Okay, so that first board there is going to get chopped at 1 foot 4 inches or 16 inches, depending on how you want to look at it. So let's copy this over. And make our measurement, but we're going to have to go into edit component mode after we make that unique. So let's go make our measurement, and 16 inches. Okay, and that's where that's going to stop. And the, let's see, that's the, let's go down to a better detail. So the top of this board is 3 feet. So let's copy this board over once again. Let's make our measurement. 3 feet. There we go. Now it's outside the active, which is okay because we can see it. And I'm still going to have to draw a line anyway. It's when it's in a really tight spot that if it's outside the active, you're not really going to see it. Okay. So we've got all 3 of our boards done up. Let's go back to our detail. And this is going to have a span of 7 foot, 7.5 from there to there. So let's make a construction line and see where it takes us. Let's go straight across. 7 foot, 7.5. Okay. Okay, that's where that one takes us. I'm gonna just go down to there. So I've got something a little better to work with. Okay, let's move this one over. Gonna have to go in edit component mode. Oops, I'm gonna get out of that. One sec. We're in edit component mode. My apologies. So I'm moving this one over just like so. Okay. And that's going to symbolize basically where this is. So I'm going to get rid of this board later, or actually I'm just going to move it over and it's going to become this board. But we're going to bring these over since they're already trimmed up. So, okay. I'm going to try putting it right on top. And then I'm just going to kind of go up here and grab it here. Oops. No. That doesn't want me to do that. Let's see if it lets me. There we go. So I'm just going to move this out of the way for now. Oops. Once again, it looks like it didn't let me copy. Looks like it more or less made me take that one, which wasn't what I was shooting for. So I'm holding the control key down and I'm copying. Okay. Okay. Now let's grab this one here. Make sure that it does copy. Okay, bring that over there. Okay. Let's bring this one back into the mix. Not copying, just bring it back. Okay, so we've got both ends. So let's look at our detail. It's a 7.5, or it's a 9.5 footer, or 9.5 inches, which is 2 by 10. So I'm actually going to grab the other one, and yeah, let's see, let's do that. So let's grab this one here. Okay, bring it over. Let's drop that off. And firstly, we're going to make it unique, or else we're causing issues everywhere. And I'm going to copy that before I get too far. Okay. go into edit component for either one. Since that one's blue, I'm not making this one unique because I want them both to move. Okay, stop it right there. Okay, so I punched this one through because it's going to allow us to do a little more efficient trimming. So, okay, so let's trim these ones out. Let's go here. Edit component. I'm going to edit this board here. Let's make it unique. And edit this component. And I'm going to use my rectangle, and I'm going to go from that point to this point, and we should be able to push this over, which we can. Same thing. Now, yes, someone's going to say, could you put this in, like do these all at the same time? I actually could. And I'll do that at a later stage. I just didn't want to bombard you with an excessive amount of steps. Especially with the introduction of using the pre-made stuff. Okay. That's certainly a departure from the way you've been doing it up until now. Let's see. What's going on here? Give that a push. Okay. Okay, make sure there's no lines. Okay, here. And we've got our board. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, because I want to have a board up on top of there, I'm going to quickly grab one of these and bring it over wherever. Make that unique. Edit that component. We only need this top little bit. Actually, that might have uncovered some stuff that's not erased on the back end. I'll check that out. Delete that, okay. And for sure, let's grab this one and just stick it in the corner. Like there, and copy it over. Don't have to make it unique. I'm not making any changes to it. Okay, now I'm going to swing this around. There's a possibility that, yeah, see when I pushed it, for some reason it didn't want to make that disappear. So we'll just go back into this component, edit it, make a couple deletions, not a biggie. Okay. Okay, that large window is done, with the exception of the portion here and editing these, which we're going to get to now. Okay, let's just throw on a 2x4 on there and make these disappear. I'm just going to grab whatever board. I'm going to get out of edit component mode. I'm going to grab a board from, oh, let's say, just grab any old board will do. Let's make this unique. We're going to rotate that. If it gives you any trouble, just type it in, 90. There you go. Okay, let's drop this one off. Okay, let's now edit our component, which it is unique. And let's just trim that out. Okay. Let's get out of this portion of edit component mode, and we're going to trim these ones up here. Let's edit this. And push that out of the way. All right, it all left. Good. And we've got 3 more to go. Okay, edit component mode. 2 to go. Oops. I think I fell a little short of that one. There we go. Intersection to intersection. And let's take a peek. Okay, there's nothing abnormal up there. Sometimes it's good just to get a look to make sure that you didn't forget something. Okay, now I'm going to spin this around just to make sure there's no remnants of that board back here, and there is not. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to, oops, I didn't copy that board. I don't think I'm pressing down on my control button hard enough. Okay, let's just copy this board here. Okay, I'm just going to move it over 16 inches. There we go. And everything looks normal. Okay, so if we double check that, yep, that's all done. Let's go on to window 5. Now it shows the span to be 13 feet 4 inches long as before. Now let's just double check where it starts. It starts at this edge to this edge. 13 foot 4 inches. Okay, so let's make sure we draw a line as well. Okay. Right around here. So 13 feet 4 inches. Okay, we've got a mark right about there. There's our guide point. Draw that line. And let's look at our picture once again. That's the edge of that board right there. So let's grab a board that's close by. Like, let's say this one here. And get right into edit component mode. And let's move this over. Actually copy that. Okay. And we're going to go over here. Let's check out the next. Okay. Let's look here at some. So this board here is 2 feet down this way. Okay. So 2 feet that way. So I'm going to copy this one next to each other. And it says 2 feet, where I'm measuring 2 feet. Now I'm going to measure my 2 feet in edit component mode after I make this one unique. I want everything to be in view. Okay, so that was 2 feet as per the print. Yes, that's where we're going to chop that board. Okay. Okay, now let's move this one over here as well. Get out of edit component mode. For the individual board, we're still in edit component mode. Okay. Now this one, I believe, is measured from the bottom, which is 4 foot 6 inches where we cut it. Okay, so I'm going to measure right here. Make that one unique. And let's measure 4 foot 6 inches from the bottom. Let's find our line. Let's find our scribed endpoint. And let's push that out of the way. Okay, we've now got our 3 boards in place. Let's just get out of edit component for that particular board. At this point, I think it's fair to say this board can get out of the way. Erase that one there. Okay, let's look at our next measurement. So it's 9.5, so this, okay. Let's go over here. So it gives the location of from here to here as 3 feet 7.5. So let's get out our, double check that, that's from the top. So 3 feet 7.5. Okay. Let's get making a construction line. Okay. So let's grab this board here and copy it. Hold that control tight. Okay. Now I'm going to copy it to there, because according to our print, that's where that goes. 3 foot 7.5. Okay. Now, if we copy this one over here as well, like so. Okay. Now, I suppose we could also copy this board here as our 3rd board. Hold that control tight and drop it off as well. Now we end up with a bit of a tight clutter in here of boards, but that's okay. When you're putting drywall up and stuff like that, that's definitely not something anyone ever complains about. Okay, so we now have to just check out, we've got our 9.5-inch board, and we're going to stick that in. Okay. So I'm going to go over to here. Let's borrow this board because it's a heck of a lot less to trim, or we're going to have to add, but it might be easier. Oops. Hold that control button down. There. Okay, put this there. And copy this one over. Oops. Okay. Let's get into edit component mode for this. Make it unique. And I may have made a tiny error. I should have made this one unique, then copied it. That would have allowed me to edit both of these. Note to self. Note to watcher. Okay. Okay. There we go. We've got our top board in place. Now we just have to put our ledge in. So we can pretty much grab any old board that we want. Well, let's get into edit component mode to do that. And let's grab a board. I'm going to grab this one here. And let's bring it over there and give it a spin. 90 degrees. And before I make this unique, I'm going to take advantage of the visibility. Hopefully I can get this little bit taken care of. Now make it unique. Okay, let's grab them over here. Now we're going to edit this board here in edit component mode. It's unique, so nothing else should get the change. Usually you know pretty quick if it does. Okay, so let's start editing some of this stuff to complete ball number 1. Let's see. All the way to the top on this one. Hopefully it all goes away, which apparently it didn't. There's no clear explanation of why. And make that unique, edit it, and get our rectangle once again. Give it a push. And erase the stuff that would not leave. Spin around, oops, just to make sure. And we are good. Okay. And that's it for this right wall.